Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on your favorite Little Slaw YouTube channel. So, today in this video, we are going to see about an important topic, which I would say, and this is you're on the day 4 of Kubernetes training. So, if you're someone who has missed to watch the other 3 or 4 videos, please do watch the videos in the playlist. And today in this video, we're going to discuss about Lens. So Lens is an IDE which actually supports the Kubernetes. I mean, in fact, I would say for the last 3 days, you must have been seeing only the black screen or the um, the Visual Studio Code screen, the terminals where we were running, we were starting the Kubernetes, we were stopping it, we were getting the pods, we were doing all sort of transactions only through the terminal, and we were able to see everything in the terminal. But today, I will show you how to easy. I mean, like, it's actually easy way to view the lens. I mean, like again, this lens is this is the thing which we're going to see today. So this actually has solved a lot of challenges which Kubernetes has. So in terms of the complexity, in terms of configuration, because Kubernetes, we all know it involves multiple components and layers like the pods, the services, the deployments, the namespaces, and these are like very overwhelming to manage. So these are made very simple when using the lens, and in terms of visibility, because if you want to monitor the state of any application or the resources, it is very difficult without the right tool. But lens is actually the right tool which will help you to monitor, or it'll give you a good amount of visibility to watch all the pods, the services which are running, the deployments, the namespaces, the age of each pods, and even it also helps you in terms of resource management, because you can efficiently manage the resources, especially in large clusters where you require a deep understanding of Kubernetes and its configuration options. And also even the final one, which is the debugging part, because when you uh, want to diagnose some issues in a Kubernetes environment, which often requires shifting through logs, so you can analyze the events, you can understand the relationship between various components. So I'll show you what exactly is it and how does it work. So before that, this is me, Asan Shanmugam. I welcome you all to our Little Slaw YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed it yet, and uh, share the video with your friends. And also this video, again, I'm telling you, like, this is a Kubernetes video, and I'm going to take you through all the way uh, until I make you understand what Kubernetes is. And there are like going to be 100 days of training starting this week. So it's going to be like 100 continuous days where we're going to see again and again lots and lots of Kubernetes, the Helm chart, and everything end to end. So in case if you really want to have any personalized training, please do reach out to me. We can have a one-on-one training where we can share a lot of information, and I will take you through a kind of a boot camp where I will help you to install all these in your machine so that you can practice in your home, and you can very well learn this as well. So firstly, let me tell you what is Lens. So Lens is an open source IDE which is specifically designed for Kubernetes, and this provides a graphical, not just the code. So if you want to see the pod, you can click on the pods, you can see the services, you can see the namespaces, whatever you want, you can watch them, you can visualize it, you can monitor it, you can manage the Kubernetes clusters with ease. And some of the features I would say are the cluster management, because Lens allows the users to manage the multiple Kubernetes clusters from a single interface, because this is particularly useful for organizations. If you're someone who is an organization which operate in multi-cloud or hybrid cloud, or even I would say even with single cloud environment, it is very easy for you to manage clusters across different platforms, and then the real-time monitoring and visualization. So you can, I mean, this lens actually provides real-time insights into the state of your Kubernetes resources. You can even monitor the CPU usage, you can even monitor the memory usage, the pod statuses, and much more. I'll go through that one by one. And then the built-in terminal, because Lens includes a built-in terminal which connects directly to your Kubernetes cluster, which allows you to execute commands, view logs, and debug issues without leaving the IDE. And when it comes to resource browsing. So users can easily browse through different resources such as pods, the services, the deployments, namespaces, using Lens's hierarchical view. So this makes it easier for you to navigate through the complexity of Kubernetes and ease of use. When it comes to ease of use, it's a very clean and user-friendly interface because Lens reduces the need for extensive YAML file editing or command line interactions. You don't need to worry about command line interactions like Kubernetes get pods, Kubernetes get services. You don't need to do all those things. Just click. You can go to the pods. You can see how many are running. You can go to the services. You can go to the namespaces. Yep. So you're going to reduce all the complexity. So now we don't have any services running. So that's the reason you don't find anything here. So to start that, let's go to the Visual Studio Code and make sure you are running your Docker on the end. So I'm going to start minikube start. So this command will start the minikube container. So I have the minikube, but it is okay. It just now it has started just 1 second ago, and yep, let's wait for it to get completed. And once it is completed, then we'll go back to the lens and we'll see what are all the components it has and how to navigate through them. So let's wait for a few more seconds to get this completed and up and running. So now coming to the Visual Studio Code. So now this is done. Kubectl is now configured to use minikube cluster and the default namespace by default. So let's go to the namespace, I mean the lens, and move to the clusters. So under clusters, you can see your minikube cluster, and both of these Docker desktop. That's another container that's disconnected, and we are now in the minikube. So when I click on it, it will automatically start connecting. So once you click on it, it automatically gets connected. And here, if you see, if you want to view the applications, there are no applications so far. So it's showing the list is empty. And the main thing is the nodes. So in case if you have any nodes, so here we have the minikube node, and there are nothing. It's still in the ready state, but there are no memory, CPU, disk utilization here. And then moving to the pods. So far we don't have any pods. So we're going to create those pods. So if you see here, there are 0 pods, no deployments, no daemons. It's everything is empty. It's just only the cluster, the minikube cluster that's running. So if we want to create the pods and if you want to create the services, we can do it. And this is actually a way where we can monitor them very easily. Like I told you, like this is a better way of monitoring it. So now let's move to the next step where we create the pods, where we can scale up and we can see the other actions. And even there is an important part which is called the cron job. So we'll see all of them one by one. So for now, let me go and let me create the pods and we'll do a scale up and see how does it work. So now we don't have any pods or we don't have any deployments in the lens. So it's always, I mean, like we have options to create the pods in this screen itself, but it's always not advisable because anytime when you want to create, you have to go via the code because that's the way you have to, you can maintain the state of the Terraform or whatever other code that you use to create the pods. So let me go to the Visual Studio Code. So here I have my Nginx deployment. So I'm going to run that same file and that will create the pods for me. So it's going to be the same command, the kubectl and create deployment Nginx deployment image. It's the Nginx image and the replica is going to be 1. So now the deployment is created and let's go to the lens. So here we can see we have got one pod with one deployment. So it's still pending and it will take few seconds to get it up and running. So if we try here, like the way that we usually see, so it's kubectl get pods. So this will actually show us what is the pod that's getting created and what is the status of it, and it is whether running or not, and the age of the pod. So let's go to the lens here. So here if you can see the same pod name 55888B446C, the same thing here, and the container is started, it's running, it's ready, and the CPU is still shows NA, the memory shows NA, and there are no 0 restarts, and it's controlled by replica set. So if I click on replica set, you can see here the name of the pod that we created, and its CPU, its memory, its network. So we can view all these. I mean, like it takes some time for this to get up and running, and then we can even see the ready state of it and the current status of it. So all these things we can, all these, I mean, data or all these metrics, we can observe it or we can monitor it easily through the lens. So this is quite comfortable when it's compared to the CLI mode. So you can see here the Nginx deployment. It's default. It has one part and it's up and running. And then there are no daemon sets so far. So we'll create it one by one. And then when it comes to stateful sets, there are nothing. And we have one replica. So it shows desired is one and the current and ready. And then when it comes to jobs, so we don't have any jobs. And like I told you, we'll see how to create a cron job, which will run or it will trigger some actions to this pod or to this deployment. And when it comes to nodes, yep, it's the same mini cube, which is up and ready, up and running. So like I told you, so we have created a pod. So now I will scale it up to another three or four so that you can see how many pods. So currently we can see there's just one pod. So when we do a scale up, let's see what happens after we do the scale up. So now to do the scaling, it's the same command that we do use in the previous tutorial. It's kubectl scale deployment nginx minus deployment replicas equals 3. So this one, all these changes, if you are in a production environment, you will be running it through your Terraform code, which is running via GitHub. So this is, since it's going to be a kind of a sandbox environment. So that's the reason I'm running it directly and then I'm showing it how does it work. So this is again a basic way, because these are the commands which you must understand first, like what does it do and how does it work, and then how does it connect with the lens. So all these things has to be understood. So that's the reason I'm just giving you in a sandbox environment. So if you come back here, going to the pods, so here you can see all these three pods are running. I mean, like the original one has been multiplied to three pods. So now we can see this is the original pod that has created, because it shows 3 minutes and 49 seconds, and these are the two new pods which has been created recently. And let's, yep, so all these three, I mean, like we have increased the pod numbers. And again, now you can see in the deployment, you can see like we have got 3 out of 3 pods running and 3 replicas, and the age of it and the available the conditions, it shows progressing. So these are some of the ways where we can handle or we can manage the pods, or we can, it's just understand like how easy it is to monitor the pods. You can see their life, and then even there is one more thing where you can see the events. So like if you see here, this will show the events of commands that we are seeing here. And if in case if you want to add any command also, you can do it via this terminal. You don't need to go to any other tool. You can just give the command directly here in the terminal command. See if you can directly type the commands, like for example cube ctl get pods. Yeah, so you can directly do it from here as well. So you don't need to go directly to that Visual Studio Code every time to give the commands. And in fact, you can even ask me like whether is that code, is that only we can do that via scaling, where we can only increase or we can scale the number. It's not the only option. We have other options as well. But like I told you, it's always good to do it via code. But still, I would show you how to scale up without code. So you can just go to the deployment section and select the deployment or the deployment that we have, which is related to this container, and go back to this three dots, click on it. And if you see, we have the scale. So when you click on the scale, you can even scale up to a maximum of 100. So yeah, you can increase it. Actually, that's an option you have. So you can do it. But for now, I'm not doing it for this at this moment. And then you can do a restart. You can check the logs. See here, you can check the logs of whatever has happened so far. So this, in fact, if something goes wrong, you can just go through it and then you can understand what has happened for every pod, like for this particular pod, what is happening, and for the other pod, what is happening. So this will give you an idea like what is happening and why is it happening. Usually logs is what does that. And then this is the command which we have used to create this particular file. So you can just watch that as well. Then if you want to delete this, you can go ahead, click on delete, and that will delete the deployments. So these are the ways where you can easily use it. Just imagine while you are doing it in code, you have to just type, you have to remember the commands and you have to type it. But for now, it's quite easy, right? So that's the main advantage of using Lens. And and in several scenarios where you are working in an environment which has a huge amount of load that is coming in. So how will you auto scale it? So to auto scale, here is the command. So you have to type, you have to enter kubectl. I believe you can see this command. So it's kubectl. Let me even make this bigger. Yeah. So it's kubectl and auto scale deployment nginx minus deployment minus minimum. It's going to be 2. So it's going to be always 2 pods, and then the maximum is going to be 10 pods, and CPU minus percent. If it goes beyond 80% automatically, this command sets up an autoscaler that will maintain between 2 and 10 replicas of the nginx deployment, which scales up when the CPU exceeds 80%. So by using these commands, you can easily scale up the number of pods in the deployment, which ensures your application can handle increased traffic or workload demands. So now let me run this command. Yep, so horizontal pod autoscaler is auto scaled. So let me just, so now you can see here we have got 3 pods running. But in case if the CPU is more than 80%, then automatically the autoscaler works. But for now, this is the command, which is kubectl autoscale deployment, and your container the nginx deployment, which is the file that we are running. And then the minimum one should be 2, and the maximum is going to be 10, and the CPU percent if it goes beyond the 80%. So that will scale up the pods in your deployment. So yeah, I think I would have explained to you the very basics. So going forward, we'll see about the daemon sets. In fact, we'll also see about the namespaces, because this is quite another important topic which we have to discuss. So we'll see them one by one, and also we'll see Helm charts. What is Helm chart, and what is this releases is all about, and then we'll see various other topics. I mean, this Kubernetes, I mean, this Lens has a lots and lots of things to learn. So please do watch all the videos, and you will definitely become a expert in Kubernetes and Lens in the next 100 days. So please do join the video, and yep, with that I come to an end, and I definitely believe this video would have been very useful to you. So until I meet you all in my next videos, bye bye from Vasan Shanmugam and your favorite Little Slaw YouTube channel. Take care and bye bye.